Hello, and welcome back to Fluent English Journey. My name is Ava, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to clear, confident, and natural English. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a lesson. Your support truly helps this channel grow. All right, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's session. On this new morning, the sky is still soft and quiet, and our main character, Daniel, wakes up long before his alarm rings because today is not a normal day. Today is the first day of his very first job, and his heart is beating fast. Not because he is scared exactly, but because everything feels new and big and important, and he wants to do everything right. He sits up in his small room and looks around, noticing the clothes he prepared last night, a simple shirt, clean pants, and a nervous smile that he cannot turn off. He keeps whispering to himself in slow, simple English, "It's okay. I can do this. I will learn. I will speak slowly. I will listen carefully," and he repeats these soft lines like mini prayers, trying to calm the noise in his chest. He stands in front of the mirror and tries to practice introducing himself because he is afraid that someone will ask, "Tell us about yourself," and he will freeze. So he says, "Hello, my name is Daniel. I am excited to be here," over and over again, with a little smile each time, even though the room feels too quiet for such positive words. After a few minutes, he walks to the kitchen where his mother is already awake, preparing tea. She looks at him and smiles in a way that says she is proud but also knows he is nervous. She gives him a warm cup and places her hand on his shoulder. "You will be fine," she says softly. "Your first job is like the first step on a long road. Just walk slowly, one step at a time." Daniel nods, even though he is not sure he believes it. His mind is filled with worries. What if he doesn't understand something? What if he speaks too slowly? What if he makes mistakes? What if others think he is not good enough? But he tries to ignore those thoughts because he has no choice but to go. He leaves the house and steps into the cool morning air. The streets are quiet, and the world feels gentle, almost like it is whispering, "Don't worry, today will be good." He takes a long breath and starts walking toward the bus stop. Every step feels heavy but hopeful. He keeps thinking about all the new people he will meet today, all the new conversations, all the moments where he will need to speak clearly and listen carefully. And even though fear jumps around inside his stomach, he also feels a small spark of excitement. After all, this is the beginning of something new, something important. When he reaches the bus stop, he sees a few people already waiting: an old man reading a newspaper, a woman talking on the phone, a teenager with headphones. The world around him moves like a slow movie, and Daniel feels like he is the only one who is scared, but he knows that everyone, at some point, had a first day too. The bus arrives with a soft hiss, and Daniel steps inside, choosing a seat near the window. As the bus starts moving, he watches the city waking up. The sunlight slowly touches the buildings, the shops, the quiet roads, and he wonders what his life will look like in 1 month, in 1 year, after he learns more, after he grows more confident. The bus ride feels long even though it is only 20 minutes. He keeps checking his bag, making sure he has everything: ID card, notebook, pen, small lunch, and a heart full of nervous hope. When he finally reaches his stop, he steps out and sees the building where he will work, tall, clean, modern, and shining with the early morning light. It feels big, too big, like a mountain he is not sure he can climb. But he walks toward it slowly, feeling every second. The glass doors open with a soft sound, and a cold rush of air conditioning hits him. Inside, the lobby is bright and full of people walking confidently, talking easily, laughing with each other as if everything is natural for them. Daniel suddenly feels very small. He looks around and tries to understand where he should go. Then he notices a sign that says Human Resources, third floor, and he remembers that he must check in there first. He walks toward the elevator, but his legs feel shaky. He presses the button, waits, and tries to breathe slowly so he doesn't look too nervous. When the elevator doors open, 3 people walk out, talking to each other in fast English, and Daniel cannot understand all the words. He catches only pieces like meeting, deadline, and client, and hearing them makes him feel even smaller, like he is a child entering an adult world. But he steps into the elevator anyway. He presses the button for the 3rd floor and tries to repeat his introduction in his mind. Hello, my name is Daniel. I am excited to be here. He practices it again and again, hoping it will come out naturally later. The door opens and the 3rd floor is quiet, not like the busy lobby downstairs. He sees a small desk where a woman with glasses is typing on a computer. She looks up and smiles kindly. Good morning, how can I help you? She asks in slow, friendly English. Daniel feels a wave of relief. He speaks carefully. Good morning. My name is Daniel. It is my first day. I need to check in. The woman nods warmly. Welcome, Daniel. Please sign here and then wait for a few minutes. Someone from your team will come to guide you. He thanks her and sits on a small chair near the wall. For a moment, everything feels quiet. He looks around at the clean office space, the big windows, the soft lighting, and he wonders what kind of people he will work with, if they will be friendly, patient, or strict. After a few minutes, a young man walks toward him. He has short hair, a friendly face, and confident steps. Daniel, he asks. Daniel stands quickly. Yes, I am Daniel. The young man smiles. Great. Welcome. I'm Alex. I will be working with you. Come, I'll show you around. Daniel follows him down a hallway. Alex speaks casually, easily, like someone who is used to guiding new people. Along the way, he says, don't worry about anything. Everyone here was new at some point. You'll learn everything slowly. These words help Daniel's heartbeat calm down a little. They enter a large room filled with desks, computers, chairs, and people talking quietly. Alex shows him where he will sit. This is your desk. You can set your things here. Daniel smiles politely and places his small bag on the chair. Then Alex begins introducing him to the team. First, there is Mia, a girl with bright eyes and a warm smile. She says, Hi, Daniel. Nice to meet you. Don't worry, we'll help you with anything you need. Her voice is kind, and Daniel immediately feels a little safer. Next is Rohan, a tall man with a calm voice. He nods and says, Welcome. Take your time to learn. No pressure. Then there is Sarah, who looks very focused on her computer, but turns to give a small smile. Hi, she says softly. Each person welcomes Daniel in a different way, but all of them seem friendly, and that gives him hope. Alex tells Daniel to sit and shows him how to log into his computer, how to open the company email, how to check tasks. But everything feels new and complicated, and Daniel listens carefully, trying not to miss anything. Alex speaks quickly sometimes, and Daniel has to ask, Can you repeat that, please? Each time feeling that tiny sting of embarrassment. But Alex doesn't get irritated. He slows down and repeats kindly. Of course, no problem, he says every time, and this helps Daniel relax a little. Then Alex shows Daniel a small file of simple tasks he will do today. Daniel looks at it and thinks, this is not too hard. But then Alex explains a few instructions in fast English, and Daniel's brain gets confused. He nods politely, but inside, he is lost. Alex asks, Do you understand? Daniel hesitates, then says honestly, I understand. Maybe 50%. Alex laughs softly, not in a rude way, but in a warm way. It's okay. We will take it step by step. Daniel begins his first task, reading a few short emails and summarizing them. It sounds easy, but the emails use words he is not fully comfortable with. He reads them slowly, sentence by sentence, looking for the meaning. When he starts writing the summary, he types slowly, carefully choosing simple words so he doesn't make mistakes. He feels like he is walking on thin ice, trying not to fall. After 20 minutes, Alex returns and asks, "How's it going?" Daniel looks at his screen, unsure. "I think maybe I did it wrong," he whispers. Alex checks the summary and smiles. "It's okay. You only need a little more detail. But this is a good start." Hearing the words, "good start," makes Daniel feel a small spark of pride. Time passes slowly, but Daniel continues working. Every small task feels like a mountain, but he keeps climbing. Sometimes he cannot find the right English word, sometimes he misunderstands something, sometimes he feels his heart beating fast when someone speaks too quickly. But he keeps going. During a short break, Mia invites him to join the team for tea. Daniel wants to say yes, but he is shy. He worries that he will not understand their conversation. But Mia smiles and says, "Come, it's okay. You don't need to talk much. Just join us." So he follows her to the small kitchen area where the team is standing, laughing, chatting. They talk about normal things, weather, weekend plans, funny moments from work. Daniel listens quietly, smiling when others smile. He tries to understand as much as he can. Sometimes he misses words, but he catches the feelings, the tone, the rhythm, and that makes him feel part of the group. At one point, Rohan asks him, "How is your first day so far?" Daniel thinks for a moment and says slowly, "I feel nervous, but everyone is very kind. Thank you." The team smiles and Mia says, "Don't worry, we were all nervous on our first day." These simple words feel like a warm blanket around Daniel. By lunchtime, Daniel feels tired even though it is still early. His mind has been working too hard, trying to understand, trying to speak, trying to be confident. But he keeps reminding himself, this is only the first day. I don't need to be perfect. He eats quietly at his desk, watching how others take their breaks. Some talk loudly, some laugh freely, some walk around with coffee. He wants to be like them one day, confident, relaxed, comfortable. In the afternoon, Alex gives him a slightly more difficult task. When Daniel tries to work on it, he feels confused again. He asks for help, and even though he feels embarrassed, he knows he must ask. Alex helps again, explaining slowly, showing him examples, guiding him through the steps. And slowly, things become clearer. By the end of the day, Daniel feels tired but proud. He made mistakes, yes. He asked questions, yes. He didn't understand everything, yes. But he survived the first day. And sometimes surviving is already a victory. When the clock hits 5 p.m., he packs his bag and gets ready to leave. The team waves goodbye to him, and their friendly smiles make his heart feel warm. As he walks out of the office building, the evening sky greets him with soft colors. The air feels different now, calmer, safer, almost proud. He thinks about the day, the fear, the introductions, the confusion, the small victories, the friendly faces. And even though he knows tomorrow will bring new challenges, he also knows he is not alone anymore. He has a team. He has a place. And he has a beginning. With slow steps, he walks toward the bus stop, whispering to himself with a small, tired smile, "Today was a good first step." Daniel wakes up on his second morning with a strange feeling inside him, something between fear and excitement, something soft, but heavy at the same time, like a small cloud sitting inside his chest. He remembers yesterday, the introductions, the friendly faces, the confusion, the little victories, and he knows today will be another big day. He stands in front of the mirror again, just like yesterday, but this time he feels a little different. Yesterday he whispered, "I can do this," because he was trying to believe it. Today, when he whispers the same words, there is a small part of him that truly means it. He fixes his shirt, combs his hair, and tells himself, one more step. Just one more step. The bus ride feels slightly easier today. He still sits near the window. He still watches the city pass by, but now he doesn't feel so alone. He thinks about the team, Mia's warm smile, Rohan's calm voice, Alex's patient explanations, and those memories make his shoulders relax a little. When the bus stops in front of the office building, he takes a deep breath and steps down with a little more confidence than yesterday. Just a little, but enough to make him feel proud. Inside the lobby, the world feels less intimidating. The rushing footsteps, the clicking keyboards, the voices yesterday, they made him feel small. Today, they feel normal, like background music. He takes the elevator to the third floor, and when the doors open, he sees Alex standing near his desk, talking to Mia. When they see Daniel, they turn and smile, not because they are trying to be polite, but because they genuinely seem happy to see him. That small moment gives Daniel a warm feeling in his stomach, something soft and reassuring. Alex walks toward him and says, "Good morning, Daniel. Ready for day 2? Daniel laughs nervously and says, "I think, yes." Everyone laughs softly with him, not at him, and that makes the moment lighter. Alex explains that today they will start working on a team task. When Daniel hears the word team, he feels both excited and nervous. Working with a team means speaking, listening, sharing ideas, asking questions, and Daniel still feels slow when people speak too fast. But he nods and says, "Okay, I will try." Alex leads Daniel and 2 other team members, Mia and Rohan, into a small meeting room with glass walls. There is a big screen on the wall, a round table, and comfortable chairs. It looks professional, serious, and Daniel tries to sit in a way that makes him look confident. Alex starts explaining the task. It is a small project for a client, something simple but important, something the team must complete together. Daniel listens carefully, his eyes on Alex, his mind trying to catch every word. But Alex speaks fast sometimes, without meaning to, because he is excited about the project. Daniel tries to keep up, but some parts feel like they fly over his head. At one point, Mia notices Daniel looking confused. She gently raises her hand and says, "Alex, can you slow down a little? I think Daniel needs a clearer explanation." Her voice is kind, soft, and not at all judgmental. Daniel feels grateful, and Alex immediately nods and starts again, slower this time, using simpler English. Daniel understands more now, and he smiles softly to show he is following. When the explanation is done, Alex asks, "Any questions?" Daniel wants to ask something, but he hesitates. His brain is full of questions, too many, but he doesn't know how to choose the right one. He looks down at his hands and stays quiet. Rohan notices and gently leans forward. "Daniel," he says softly, "you can ask anything. No question is silly. We are a team." When Daniel hears the word team, spoken with so much comfort, his heart warms. So he slowly raises his hand and asks one small question: "What part am I doing?" The team smiles, and Alex explains Daniel's role clearly. He will help organize information, prepare simple summaries, and create a short report. It sounds difficult, but also possible. Daniel nods, "I understand," even though he knows he will ask for help later. After the meeting, the team returns to the work area. Daniel sits at his desk and reads the project details. The words are a mix of easy and hard. Some sentences he understands immediately, but others feel complicated, like twisted ropes. He reads them again and again, trying to make sense of them. Mia walks over and sits beside him. "Do you want help?" she asks kindly. Daniel nods, feeling thankful. She explains the difficult parts in slow English, using simple words, drawing small examples on a notepad. Her teaching style is gentle, patient, and warm. With every sentence she explains, something inside Daniel relaxes a little. When she finishes, she looks at him and says, "You're doing well. Don't worry." Daniel smiles shyly. "Thank you," he whispers. It feels so small, but the gratitude inside him is huge. Mia pats his shoulder lightly and returns to her desk. Daniel starts working. He opens documents, reads slowly, writes slowly, tries to summarize information in clear sentences. Sometimes he stops to think. Sometimes he rewrites a whole line because it sounds wrong. Sometimes he sighs because he feels lost. But then he remembers something his mother told him: walk slowly, one step at a time. So he takes a deep breath and continues. Around 11 a.m., Alex calls the team for a short discussion. Everyone stands around his desk. Daniel tries to listen carefully, but the conversation moves fast. People speak with energy, with excitement, with quick words. Daniel catches pieces like deadline, format, revision, client update, but he doesn't catch every detail. He tries not to panic. Instead, he listens for the big picture, the main idea, the feelings behind the words. And slowly, something interesting happens. He begins to understand more just from the tone and flow. When the discussion ends, the team breaks into small tasks again. Daniel focuses on his part. He types slowly, thinks deeply, checks everything twice. He doesn't want to give the team extra work. He wants to help. He wants to belong. After some time, Rohan walks over and reviews Daniel's work. He reads quietly, then smiles. "Good," he says softly, very clear. Simple English, but strong. This helps the whole team. Daniel feels a warm wave of pride. "Thank you," he says, trying not to sound too happy. But Rohan notices the shy excitement in Daniel's eyes and laughs gently. "You're improving fast," he says. "Just keep practicing." By lunchtime, Daniel feels more comfortable than he did yesterday. When Mia invites him for lunch, he says yes a little more easily. They go to the small kitchen again, and this time, Daniel listens more confidently. The team talks about funny office stories, small mistakes they made in the past, embarrassing moments during meetings. Daniel laughs quietly, feeling the comfort of shared imperfection. When someone asks him about his studies, he answers slowly but clearly. His voice shakes a little, but he speaks anyway. And when the team listens to him with interest, something warm grows inside his heart, the feeling of connection. After lunch, the team returns to the big project. The office becomes quieter as everyone focuses on their tasks. Daniel types, thinks, edits. Sometimes he feels stuck, but he doesn't panic like before. He asks Mia when he needs help. He asks Rohan when he is unsure. He even asks Alex a small question, and Alex answers with a happy smile, saying, "See? You're getting comfortable. That's good." An hour later, something important happens. Daniel finishes his part earlier than expected. He reads it again, making sure it is correct. Then he slowly stands up, walks to Alex's desk, and says, "I finished. Can you check it?" His voice is soft but steady. Alex reads the file, nods slowly, and then looks at Daniel with surprise and pride. "This is excellent," he says. "Clear, simple, easy to understand. You did really well." Daniel feels his heart swell. A simple excellent feels like sunshine in his chest. Later in the afternoon, the team gathers again for a small update meeting. Alex asks everyone to share their progress. Mia speaks confidently. Rohan explains his part calmly. When it's Daniel's turn, he feels his chest tighten. All eyes turn to him. He opens his mouth. But the words take a moment to come out. Then he says slowly, "I finished my part, and I hope it is okay." Mia smiles and says, "It's more than okay." Rohan nods in agreement. Alex gives a thumbs up. And Daniel feels like he just climbed a small hill, one that looked scary a few hours ago. The rest of the day moves smoothly. Daniel continues to help the team, and the team continues to support him. Whenever he gets confused, someone explains. Whenever he feels unsure, someone guides him. And as the hours pass, Daniel notices something interesting. He is understanding conversations a little faster. English words that felt heavy yesterday feel lighter today. Sentences that felt too fast yesterday feel slower today. This makes him wonder, maybe the office will get easier every day. Sometimes he still struggles. Sometimes he still freezes when someone speaks too fast. Sometimes he still loses words when trying to explain a thought. But now, instead of feeling ashamed, he feels curious. Instead of thinking, "I am not good enough," he thinks, "I can learn this." And that small difference changes everything. When the clock reaches 4:50 p.m., the team starts finishing their work for the day. Alex gathers everyone quickly and says, "Good job today, team. We made great progress." Then he looks at Daniel and adds, "Especially you. You did so well today." The team claps softly, not loudly, but warmly, and Daniel feels a deep sense of belonging. As he packs his things, Mia walks over and says, "Day 2 complete," in a cheerful voice. Daniel smiles, a real smile, not a nervous one. "Yes," he says, "Day 2 complete." On his way out of the building, the sky feels brighter than yesterday. The air feels lighter. The world feels kinder. At the bus stop, he sits down and breathes slowly, thinking about everything, every fear, every small victory, every moment of connection. And somewhere deep inside, he makes a quiet promise to himself, "I will not give up. I will keep learning. I will grow, one day at a time." The bus arrives, and Daniel steps inside with a peaceful smile, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Daniel wakes up on his third day feeling a little different than before. The fear is still there, small and shaky, sitting somewhere in his stomach, but now there is also something new, something warm and light, like a quiet confidence waiting to grow. He looks at his reflection in the mirror, and instead of a nervous smile, he sees a curious one. "Let's see what happens today," he whispers softly, as if speaking to a close friend. He adjusts his shirt, runs his hand through his hair, and takes a deep breath. This is becoming a routine now, a slow morning ritual that prepares his heart for the day ahead. The bus ride is calmer. He no longer holds his bag tightly. He no longer checks the time every minute. He simply sits, looks out the window, and lets the city wake up beside him. The morning light touches the buildings just like before, but today Daniel notices small details he missed earlier, the way the sunlight sparkles on the bus windows, the soft movements of people walking to work, the quiet rhythm of the city. Somehow, these small things make him feel a little more connected, a little less alone. When he reaches the office building, he walks inside with steadier steps. The sounds, the lights, the people, they feel familiar now. Not completely, but enough that he doesn't freeze at the entrance. He takes the elevator, and when the doors open on the third floor, he already sees Alex and Mia at their desks. When they notice him, they wave with friendly smiles, and Daniel feels something warm inside his chest. On his first day, he felt invisible. Today, he feels seen. As soon as he settles into his seat, Alex walks over with a serious but calm expression. "Daniel," he says, "we have something important today." Daniel straightens his back, unsure if this is good or bad. Alex continues, "Our team needs to prepare a quick report for the client. It's not too big, but it must be clear and simple. And we need it soon." Daniel listens carefully, trying not to panic. Alex continues, "I want you to help with the first draft." Daniel feels a small shock inside him. His first draft? For a client? A real client? His hands suddenly feel cold. He tries to speak but only manages me. Are you sure? Alex nods with a smile. Yes. You're ready to try. Don't worry, the team will help you after you write the draft. You just need to start it. The words "start it" echo in Daniel's head. He wants to feel proud, but instead he feels nervous. What if he writes something wrong? What if the client doesn't understand? What if he makes the team look bad? But Alex pats his shoulder gently. You can do it. Just use simple words. Clear ideas. Nothing complicated. Daniel nods, trying to breathe. Okay. I will try, he says softly. He opens a blank document, and the empty white screen feels huge, too huge. His fingers hover above the keyboard but do not move. Words suddenly feel heavy, like stones. He knows what he needs to write, but forming the sentences feels difficult. He closes his eyes for a moment and whispers, one step at a time. He begins typing slowly, carefully. Each sentence takes time. He writes something, then deletes it, then tries again. He whispers the sentences aloud quietly to hear if they sound clear. Sometimes he gets stuck on one simple line. Sometimes he rewrites whole paragraphs. But he keeps going, slowly, patiently, telling himself it's okay. Just try. After a short time, Mia walks by and notices his focused face. She leans in and says softly, "You're doing the draft, right?" Daniel nods nervously. She smiles warmly. Good. Just keep it simple. Imagine you are explaining the idea to a friend who knows nothing about it. That idea helps Daniel breathe easier. He imagines talking to someone who needs the information slowly, clearly, gently. Then he continues typing, and the sentences come more naturally now. After about an hour, he finishes the first draft. It is not perfect, but it is honest and clear. He reads it again, fixing small mistakes. His heart beats fast as he prepares to show it to Alex. What if Alex says it's bad? What if they need to rewrite everything? He stands, holding his laptop like something fragile, and walks slowly to Alex's desk. He taps twice on the side of Alex's table. "Excuse me. I finished the draft," he says quietly. Alex turns, smiles, and says, "Great, let me see." Daniel places the laptop in front of him and watches Alex's face closely. Every second feels long. Alex reads slowly, nodding occasionally. His expression is calm. When he finishes, he looks up at Daniel with a thoughtful smile. "This is good," he says. Daniel's breath escapes in relief. "Really?" he asks softly. Alex nods. "Yes. Very clear. Very simple. Exactly what we need. I will just add a few details. But you did a good job." Daniel feels a wave of pride wash over him, warm and gentle. He thanks Alex and returns to his desk, feeling lighter. Soon, the whole team gathers to review the draft. Rohan reads it and says, "Nice. Clean and easy to understand." Mia adds, "The structure is good." Hearing their words makes Daniel feel like he is floating. The team is not just being polite, they truly mean it. But then Alex mentions something new. "We have a meeting with the client at 3 p.m., he says. "It's a short online meeting. We need someone to explain the first part of the report." Daniel's heart stops. He looks at everyone nervously. He hopes they won't choose him. Not today. Not for speaking. But Alex continues, "I will do most of the talking, but Daniel will share a short part since he wrote it." Time slows down. Daniel feels his heart pounding in his ears. He tries to speak, but no sound comes out. He shakes his head slightly. I don't know if I can speak," he whispers. Alex smiles gently. "Don't worry. You only need to read 2 or 3 sentences. I will guide you. It will be okay." Mia adds, "You can do it, Daniel. We believe in you." Their confidence in him feels powerful, but his fear is bigger. Speaking in English, in a meeting, with a client, it feels impossible. His hands shake slightly. His throat feels tight. I'm scared, he whispers honestly. Rohan gives a small nod and says calmly, everyone is scared the first time. It's normal. Mia adds softly, just read slowly. You don't need to be perfect. Daniel sits down, trying to calm himself. He practices the sentences quietly, whispering them under his breath. But each time, his voice breaks. He imagines the meeting, the camera, the pressure, the expectation. And he feels his confidence crumble. At 2 p.m., Alex calls him to a small meeting room. Let's practice, he says gently. Daniel sits down. Alex opens the report and says, read this part. Daniel tries. He speaks slowly, but his voice is shaky. He pauses too long. He forgets small words. Very good, Alex says with encouragement. Again. They practice for 15 minutes. With each try, Daniel gets a little better. Not perfect, but better. At 3 p.m., the meeting begins. Daniel's heart feels like a drum inside his chest. He feels sweat on his hands. The screen lights up, showing the client, two people with professional expressions. Alex starts speaking, confident and calm. His voice fills the room. Daniel watches him and thinks, I wish I could speak like that. Then Alex says, my team member Daniel will now explain the first part. Daniel freezes for 1 second. His chest tightens. But then he remembers the team's smiles, their patience, their support. He takes a slow breath and begins. Hello, my name is Daniel, and I will explain the summary. His voice is soft, shaky, but real. He reads the lines slowly. He makes a small mistake on one word, but he corrects himself. He pauses once, but then continues. It is not smooth, it is not fast, but it is clear. When he finishes, Alex says, Thank you, Daniel, with a proud smile. The clients nod and smile politely. Very clear, one of them says. Daniel feels like he has just climbed a mountain. A huge mountain. When the meeting ends, the team claps softly for him. Not loudly, not dramatically, but warmly. You did it, Mia says with shining eyes. Good job, Rohan adds with his calm voice. Alex pats Daniel on the back. I'm proud of you, he says. Daniel feels tears gather in his eyes, but not sad tears. Tears of relief, of pride, of growth. Thank you, he whispers, unable to say more. For the rest of the day, he feels light, as if he is walking on soft clouds. He finishes small tasks, helps the team, and even laughs a little during break time. His confidence grows quietly, not loudly, but like a small flame becoming brighter. When the day ends, Daniel walks out of the office with a calm smile. His steps feel different, stronger, more grounded. He looks at the sky and whispers, I spoke today. I actually spoke. As he walks to the bus stop, he feels a new thought forming inside him, a thought he never believed before. Maybe, he whispers softly, I really can become good at this. And just like that, a new chapter of courage begins inside him. When the next morning came, the young professional woke up with a mix of fear and hope, a feeling that was soft, but also heavy, like a little stone sitting inside the chest, and as they walked to the office, their steps felt slower than usual because today was the day of the big team meeting, the meeting everyone talked about, the meeting where each person had to share their ideas for the week, and even though they tried to smile and breathe calmly, the thought kept returning again and again. Almost like a whisper in their head saying, what if I say something wrong? What if I forget my words? What if they think I am not good enough for this job? But even with these worries, the young professional kept walking, telling themselves, it's okay, you will learn, you will grow, you will speak slowly, and when they entered the office, Something felt different because the air was quiet but also warm, and people were already preparing for the meeting with notebooks, laptops, and cups of hot tea. The team leader, Mr. Harris, smiled and said, "Morning. Don't stress about the meeting. It's just a small discussion." No pressure, but even those kind words did not fully remove the nervous feeling, and the young professional nodded with a careful smile, trying to believe that everything would be fine. As time moved closer to the meeting, everyone walked toward the conference room, and the room felt bigger today, brighter, louder, and full of voices, chairs sliding, small conversations, light laughter, and soft greetings. The young professional sat near the middle of the table, trying not to be too close to the front, but also not too far behind, still learning how to find the right place in a team, and while waiting. They looked down at their small notebook where they wrote simple sentences for their idea, sentences like, "We can change the plan for customer files," and "Maybe we can make faster steps." But the words still looked too small and too simple for such a big meeting. When the meeting started, Mr. Harris began by welcoming everyone and thanking them for their hard work, and he explained that this meeting was to share ideas, discuss problems, and find better teamwork, and when he said, "Remember, this is a safe space. You can speak freely. We support each other," the young professional felt a small, warm spark in their chest, almost like hope knocking gently. The first few people spoke confidently, using clear English, fast English, English full of office words that sounded difficult, and the young professional listened carefully, almost studying every sentence, every sound, every way people expressed their ideas. And they wished they could speak like that, with that much flow and confidence, but their turn was coming closer, step by step, person by person, heartbeat by heartbeat. When the team leader finally looked at them and said, "And now, let's hear from our newest team member," the room grew quiet, and 20 eyes slowly turned toward them, and for a moment the young professional felt their throat tighten, their hands become warm, and their breath suddenly become shallow, but they slowly stood up with their notebook, trying to keep their voice steady. At first, only silence came out, a small empty pause, and the young professional swallowed and tried again. This time a small voice appeared, soft and shaking, but still real, saying, "Thank you. I have a small idea," and the room stayed silent, but not in a scary way, more like the team was listening with interest, giving space. They continued speaking, slowly, carefully, each word like a step across a thin bridge. "I think, maybe the customer files, maybe we can make them easier for new workers, maybe step-by-step style," and as they spoke, something beautiful happened. People nodded. People smiled. People leaned forward to listen, and the young professional felt a soft courage rising inside. But then, suddenly, a difficult word appeared in their mind, and they could not remember how to say it, and for a moment they froze, stuck between the thought and the sentence. The room waited, the silence grew a little heavier, and the young professional looked down, feeling embarrassed, but then something unexpected happened. A teammate named Sarah gently asked, "Do you mean a simpler workflow? Or maybe a beginner guide?" And instead of feeling judged, the young professional felt supported because Sarah's tone was not sharp or impatient. It was soft, kind, and helpful. The young professional nodded quickly and said, "Yes, yes, beginner guide," and the whole team looked more interested now. Mr. Harris gave a big smile and said, "That is a very good idea," and suddenly the young professional felt air return to their lungs. The meeting continued with more questions, more suggestions, more teamwork, and the young professional sat down slowly, feeling a strange combination of relief, surprise, and pride, like they had just climbed a small mountain they never believed they could climb. After the meeting ended, people walked around the room, chatting, stretching, collecting notes, and for the first time, the young professional did not feel invisible or alone. Two coworkers came over, smiling. One said, "Good job. It's not easy to speak in your first big meeting," and the other said, "Your idea can really help. I think a beginner guide will be very useful." These words were gentle, simple, but powerful. They felt like sunlight touching a cold window. Later that day, the young professional sat at their desk, remembering every moment of the meeting, the silence, the fear, the shaking voice, the help from Sarah, the smile from the leader, the support from coworkers, and they realized something important. People were not judging them. People were trying to understand them. People were not expecting perfection. They were expecting effort. And maybe, just maybe, their simple English, their soft ideas, their careful way of thinking, maybe all of it had value. That evening, as they walked home, the city lights looked warmer than before, the air felt lighter, and the young professional whispered quietly to themselves, "I spoke today. I really spoke," and those simple words filled them with a gentle pride that stayed with them even as they reached home. They sat down, closed their eyes, and said softly, "I can do this." Slowly, step by step. "I can do this," and for the first time since the job began, they felt a little stronger, a little braver, and a little more ready for tomorrow. The next day began with a soft morning wind, the kind of wind that made the young professional feel calm for a moment, as if the world was telling them, "You did well yesterday, keep going," and as they walked toward the office, they held on to that small feeling of pride from the meeting, the memory of people listening, nodding, supporting, and even though a part of them was still afraid of speaking, a new part inside felt a little awake, a little ready. When they arrived at the office, everything looked normal, people typing, people talking quietly, phones ringing softly, printers humming. And the young professional sat at their desk with a warm drink and opened their computer to start working on the beginner guide idea. They felt excited. They felt useful. They felt like they finally belonged. But life does not always move in a straight, easy line, and sometimes challenges come softly, quietly, unexpectedly, like a cloud covering the sun without warning. Around mid-morning, the team leader asked everyone to update some important customer files, something that sounded simple but required careful steps and correct information, and the young professional wanted to do it perfectly, maybe even impress the team a little. They worked slowly, checking each number, each date, each name. But because English was still not easy and because they were still learning the office system, one small mistake happened. A date was typed wrong, a customer's information was placed in the wrong category, and the file was saved and sent before they noticed. At first, the young professional did not even know a mistake had happened. They continued working with a soft smile, thinking this was a good day. But about an hour later, the team leader walked toward their desk with a serious face, not angry, not loud, just serious. He held his tablet and pointed at the file. "Hey," he said kindly but firmly, "I think there's a small mistake here. This customer's renewal date is wrong, and because of that, it went to the wrong team. We need to fix it quickly." Those words felt like ice dropping onto the young professional's heart. Their hands suddenly turned cold. Their breath stopped for a moment. They whispered, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought." I checked, and the team leader nodded gently, showing he understood it was not intentional, and he said, "It's okay. Mistakes happen, especially on your first week. Let's fix it together." But even with his kind voice, the young professional felt embarrassed, felt small, felt like they had broken something important. After the leader walked away to give them time to correct the file, the young professional sat in silence, their eyes staring at the screen, but not really seeing anything. Inside, their thoughts became heavy and dark. Why did I do that? Why did I make a mistake? What if they think I am not smart? What if they think my English is the problem? What if I lose this job? These thoughts repeated again and again, louder and louder, and even though the office around them was normal, people laughing, talking, working, inside their mind everything felt tight and lonely. They tried to fix the file, but their hands were shaking, and they made more tiny mistakes, writing numbers in the wrong place, clicking the wrong button, almost sending the wrong update. It felt like their brain was full of fog. Then something unexpected happened again. Sarah, the same coworker who had helped them during the meeting, walked by and noticed the nervous expression on their face. She stopped beside their desk and asked in a soft, warm voice, "Are you okay? You look stressed." The young professional looked up with tired eyes and whispered, "I made a mistake on the file. I feel scared," and Sarah pulled a chair next to them and said, "Hey, mistakes are normal. Everyone makes them. I made 3 mistakes just last week." These words felt surprising. Sarah always looked confident, strong, perfect, like she never made any wrong step, so hearing that she also made mistakes suddenly made the room feel lighter. She continued, "You're new. You're learning. And your English is good. Don't blame yourself so much." Then she helped explain how to correct the file in simple steps, slowly, with patience. Click here, delete that, change this date, save again. The young professional followed carefully, feeling their shoulders slowly relax, feeling their breath return, feeling their heart beat normally again. After fixing everything, they sent the correct version to the team, and Sarah said, "See? All good. No big problem. Just breathe." The young professional nodded and whispered, "Thank you," and Sarah smiled and walked back to her desk. But the emotional storm inside was not finished yet. Even though the problem was fixed, the young professionals still felt embarrassed. They felt the mistake would change how people saw them. They felt like the small bit of confidence they built yesterday had fallen again. They whispered to themselves, "Why can't I be perfect? Why do I make mistakes?" And then slowly, carefully, they realized something important. They were trying too hard to be perfect, too hard to impress people, too hard to hide their fear. Perfection was making them scared. Perfection was making them freeze. Perfection was stopping them from learning. After lunch, when the team leader passed by again, he stopped and said, "Hey, thanks for fixing the file so quickly. And don't worry. Mistakes help us see where we need better training. You're doing well." These simple words were like a hand reaching out in the dark. They were soft but strong. They made the young professional blink slowly and breathe deeper. That afternoon, when work quieted down, the young professional opened a small notebook and wrote a simple sentence, "I will learn from mistakes. I will not run from them." And as they wrote the words slowly, they felt something change inside, not a big dramatic change, not a loud moment, but a small warm feeling, like a new seed being planted. They understood that confidence was not about being perfect. Confidence was about staying calm even when things went wrong. Confidence was about asking for help. Confidence was about trying again. When the workday finally ended, they walked outside, feeling tired but also wiser. The sky was turning orange, the air was cool, and the world felt peaceful. The young professional whispered to themselves, "It's okay to make mistakes. I'm learning. I'm growing," and for the first time, they believed it a little. Not fully, not strongly, but a little. And that little feeling was the beginning of something bigger, the beginning of real confidence. The next morning began with a soft light touching the young professional's bedroom window, and for the first time in many days, they woke up without that heavy feeling of fear in their chest, because yesterday's mistake taught them something important, that the world did not end when they made an error, that people were kinder than they expected, and that trying was more important than being perfect. And as they walked toward the office, The street felt calmer, the sounds felt softer, and their steps felt a little more confident. Not big confidence, but gentle confidence, the kind that grows slowly and quietly inside. When they arrived at work, something new was happening in the office. People were moving tables, connecting laptops, writing on whiteboards, and preparing for something important. The young professional looked around with curious eyes, trying to understand what was going on, and then Mr. Harris, the team leader, walked over with a small smile and said, "Today we will work on a project together. A teamwork project. And I want you to join one of the groups." Those words made the young professional stop breathing for a moment, because teamwork meant speaking, teamwork meant listening, teamwork meant asking questions, teamwork meant communicating clearly, and even though they felt a little stronger now, teamwork still scared them. But the leader's voice was gentle, warm, and full of trust. He said, "You'll learn a lot today. Don't worry. Just be yourself." And so the young professional nodded slowly, hoping they could handle whatever was coming next. The team was divided into 3 groups, and the young professional joined the one with Sarah, a friendly coworker named Daniel, and a quiet woman named Lily, who always worked fast and kept her desk very tidy. They all sat together around a small table, and the young professional felt nervous again, but Sarah gave an encouraging smile and said softly, "Don't worry. We all work together today." Their task for the morning was simple but important: find a way to make the company's customer service steps easier and faster. Each person had ideas, each person had opinions, and each person had a different style of speaking. Daniel spoke fast, with big gestures, full of energy. Lily spoke softly, with careful words, always thinking before she talked. Sarah spoke clearly, with confidence, making everything sound friendly. And the young professional listened, trying to understand every word, trying to catch every detail. But something surprising happened. The more they listened, the more they understood. They began to see how teamwork actually worked, how one idea connected to another, how questions opened the conversation, how mistakes were not judged, how people helped each other finish sentences, how each person added something useful. At one point, Sarah asked, "Do you think we should change the order of the steps?" And Daniel said, "Yes, maybe step 3 should be step 1, and Lily shook her head and said, "No. Customers might get confused." They all turned to the young professional and asked, "What do you think?" For a moment, the young professional froze, because speaking when people are looking directly at you feels very different from speaking alone or speaking quietly. They looked down, took a breath, and said slowly, "I think maybe we can keep the steps the same, but explain them with simpler words, easier English." The team became quiet for a second. Then Daniel snapped his fingers and said, "Yes, that actually makes sense." Lily nodded and said, "Simple language could save time." Sarah smiled brightly and said, "Great idea. Let's try that." And for the first time, the young professional felt not just included, but truly part of something, part of the team, part of the solution. As the day continued, the team began writing the new steps with simple English, and the young professional helped rewrite sentences in a clear way, using short, easy words, the kind of English they had learned and practiced for many years. It was something they could do well, something they were good at, and the more they worked, the more they realized that their weakness, simple English, was also their strength. While others liked using complex words, the young professional could make things easier, clearer, softer, and that skill was suddenly very valuable. They felt proud, they felt useful, they felt seen. Later in the afternoon, the team had to present the new plan to everyone in the office. The young professional felt nervous, their palms were sweating, their stomach felt tight, but they also felt responsible because the team had used many of their ideas and presenting those ideas felt important. Sarah whispered, Just speak slowly. Just speak like you speak with us, and the young professional nodded, feeling grateful for her support. When it was time to present, the group stood in front of the whole team, and Daniel spoke first, explaining the structure. Then Lily talked about the old problems. Then Sarah talked about the new steps. And finally, Sarah turned to the young professional and said, "Would you like to explain the simple language version?" Hearing those words made their heart explode with nerves, but they stepped forward anyway, holding the printed page in their hand. They looked at the team, at the same people who once felt scary, and they took a slow breath. In a soft but steady voice, they said, "We made the steps easier, so new workers and customers can understand quickly. We removed difficult words. We made short sentences. We added examples. And we made a guide you can use anytime." And as they spoke, something amazing happened. People nodded. People smiled. People listened carefully. Not one person looked impatient. Not one person judged them. When they finished, the whole room gave a small round of applause, not a loud, dramatic applause, but a warm, friendly one. The team leader smiled proudly and said, "Well done. This is very helpful." Those simple words felt like the biggest reward in the world. After the meeting, Sarah said, "You did great," and Daniel said, "Your idea is strong," and Lily, who rarely spoke much, said quietly, "Thank you. Your part helped a lot." These three simple comments felt like little lights inside the young professional's heart, lights that made the room feel brighter, the air feel lighter, and the world feel kinder. By the end of the day, the young professional realized something important. Teamwork was not about being perfect or speaking fast or knowing everything. Teamwork was about listening, supporting, sharing ideas, asking questions, and helping each other. Teamwork was about trust. Teamwork was about connection. And teamwork was about growing together, slowly, one small step at a time. When they walked home that evening, they felt different, stronger, happier, calmer, and they whispered to themselves, "I can work with people. I can speak with people. I am not alone here," and those words stayed with them, warm and steady, all the way home. The next morning, the young professional woke up with a quiet sense of anticipation, a soft feeling in their chest that whispered, "Today something new will happen," and as they walked toward the office, they thought about yesterday's teamwork success and the small pride it gave them. For the first time, walking into the office did not feel heavy or scary. The people, the sounds, the busy hum of keyboards and conversations all felt like part of a rhythm they were starting to understand. When they arrived at their desk, a small note from the team leader was waiting. "We have an unexpected client call today at 2 p.m. Be ready to contribute. We trust you." Reading it made their heart skip a beat. An unexpected client call? So soon? The nervousness rose quickly, but then they remembered all the little steps they had taken before. The first draft, the first meeting, the first teamwork project. They remembered the way Sarah had supported them, how the team had listened to their ideas, and they whispered softly, "I can do this. I will try. One step at a time." The morning passed in a blur of small tasks, reviewing documents, checking emails, organizing notes, and all the while, the young professional felt a nervous tension in their chest, a small drumbeat of worry that never fully stopped. At lunchtime, Sarah came over and said, "Don't worry. Just focus on the key points you know. Speak slowly. Listen carefully. Everything else will be fine." Those words felt like a soft anchor in the stormy sea of nervous thoughts. They had lunched slowly, chewing each bite, thinking about what they could say, rehearsing small sentences quietly in their head. "I helped with the report. The guide is simple. This is clear for everyone." Repeating these sentences, they began to feel a small spark of confidence. At 1:50 p.m., the team gathered in the meeting room. The big screen was ready, the laptop connected. The client's face appeared on the screen at exactly 2 p.m. Two professional-looking people smiled politely, and the young professional felt their chest tighten. They sat quietly at first, listening as Alex introduced the team and the project, explaining the improvements and showing the new steps. The young professional's fingers felt clammy, and they gripped the notebook with their prepared sentences, ready for their turn. When Alex looked at them and said, "Now, our team member Daniel will explain the simple language guide," their heart jumped. This was the moment. The young professional took a deep breath, held it for a second, and then exhaled slowly. They remembered all the past lessons: slow speech, clear words, small pauses, eye contact with the camera, and they began speaking. "Hello, my name is Daniel. I helped with the simple language guide. We made the steps easier to understand and easier to follow." Their voice was soft at first, shaky, but it grew steadier as they continued, explaining step by step, using short sentences, showing the notebook when necessary. Each word felt like a small victory. Each pause was a step forward. And then, when they made a small mistake and stumbled over a word, instead of freezing, they paused, smiled softly, and continued, "Sorry. And kept going. The client smiled and nodded, not judging, only listening. Alex gently encouraged them from the side. "Good, keep going." Sarah gave a supportive nod. Daniel felt warmth spreading inside, a mix of relief, pride, and quiet courage. When the explanation ended, one of the clients asked a question, and the young professional listened carefully, repeating the question in their minds slowly, and then answered in simple English, using the phrases they had practiced. "Yes, the guide helps new workers, and the steps are short, easy to follow." The client smiled and said, "Very clear." "Thank you." Daniel's heart swelled. The call continued, with questions and answers, and each time the young professional spoke, they felt a little braver, a little more capable. By the end of the call, the clients were happy, the team looked proud, and Daniel realized something very important. Fear did not disappear, but courage grew inside by taking action, speaking despite the fear, and trusting the team. After the call, the team gathered around their desk. Alex smiled and said, "Excellent job today. You handled yourself well under pressure." Sarah said, "You were clear and confident. Well done." Even Lily, usually quiet, said softly, "Your explanations helped a lot." Daniel felt tears of relief and joy well up quietly, feeling the warmth of being seen, valued, and trusted. They realized that communication was not about perfect grammar or fast words. It was about clarity, honesty, patience, and courage. By the time the day ended, Daniel walked out of the office with a new sense of self, feeling that the path of learning English and teamwork was not a straight line, but a journey full of small victories, small mistakes, and constant growth. The city lights flickered gently as they walked home, and Daniel whispered to themselves, "I can face the unexpected. I can speak. I can learn. I can grow." And for the first time, fear felt smaller and possibility felt bigger. The next morning, the young professional woke up with a calm feeling they had never known before, a quiet confidence sitting softly in their chest, like a small flame ready to grow, and as they walked to the office, the city felt alive, welcoming, and somehow familiar. They thought about the first day, the nervous footsteps, the quiet fear, the confusion over small tasks. And they realized how far they had come. The team, once strangers, were now companions on a journey, guides who had shown patience, encouragement, and trust. Every small challenge they had faced, the first meeting, the first mistake, the teamwork project, the client call, had built a staircase inside them, step by step, leading toward clarity, courage, and understanding. As they entered the office, they noticed familiar smiles from Sarah, Daniel, Lily, and Alex, and each smile felt like a quiet reminder they belonged here, they were valued, and they were capable. Throughout the day, as tasks flowed, the young professional worked with ease they had never known in their first week. They wrote reports confidently, helped others with explanations in clear, simple English, and even suggested small improvements for the team workflow. Every time they spoke, they felt more connected, more heard, and more in control. Mistakes still happened, a number typed wrong here, a sentence slightly unclear there, but now mistakes no longer felt like failures. They were lessons, small guides showing where to adjust, where to slow down, where to ask for help. Asking for help, once a source of fear, had become a strength. Listening carefully, observing patiently, and speaking slowly, step by step, had become tools, quiet weapons of progress that worked every day. And with every small action, their confidence grew, not loud or dramatic, but steady, gentle, real. At lunch, the young professional joined Sarah, Daniel, and Lily again. They laughed over small office stories, shared tiny jokes, and even practiced short English phrases together. The conversation was simple, natural, and comforting. For the first time, they did not feel the need to hide their accent, their slow speech, or their careful choice of words. Everyone listened. Everyone understood. And that simple act of being heard and understood felt like a small miracle, a confirmation that learning English was not just about grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation, but about connection, clarity, and courage. They realized that communication was a bridge, built slowly, brick by brick, with patience, persistence, and heart. By mid-afternoon, Alex called a short meeting with the team. He smiled warmly and said, "I want to recognize everyone's effort this week. But I especially want to highlight our newest member. You have grown so much in a few days. You spoke in meetings, corrected mistakes, helped the team, and contributed ideas. That is not easy." The young professional felt their heart swell, warmth flooding the chest. They whispered softly, "I did. I really did." The team nodded, smiled, and offered small words of encouragement. Daniel from the team added, "Your simple English helped everyone understand things better. Your ideas were clear." Lily nodded, adding, "Yes, your careful explanations really helped the team." Sarah, with her usual bright smile, said, "You were brave. You spoke. You tried. That's what matters." Each word felt like sunlight on their shoulders, a quiet proof that effort mattered more than perfection. When the meeting ended, the young professional returned to their desk, reflecting on everything that had happened. They thought about fear, mistakes, communication, teamwork, and growth. They realized that confidence was not an instant gift, not a sudden magic. It was something built slowly, carefully, one choice at a time. Confidence was about trying even when afraid, about speaking even when unsure, about listening carefully, asking for help, and celebrating small victories. They wrote a simple note in their notebook: "I am learning. I am growing. I can speak. I can work with others. I can handle challenges." These sentences felt small, but they carried a lifetime of meaning. Each word reminded them that the journey of learning, whether English, teamwork, or personal growth, was a path that required patience, courage, and kindness toward oneself. When the day ended and they walked home, the sky was painted with soft colors of evening. The city lights flickered gently, and the young professional felt a sense of peace that had been impossible during the first nervous mornings. They whispered to themselves, "I faced fear. I made mistakes. I spoke. I worked with others. I grew." And for the first time, that whisper felt like a promise, not a hope, A promise to continue, a promise to keep learning, a promise to embrace challenges with patience, persistence, and quiet courage. The journey was far from over, but they knew one thing clearly. Every day, every step, every word, every small action mattered. And that understanding, simple, gentle, and powerful, was the true transformation of their first weeks at the new job, a transformation that would guide them for months and years ahead. Thank you so much for joining today's lesson here at Fluent English Journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling me what you want to learn next. Your support helps the channel grow and helps me create more lessons for you. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next class.